Gotcha. All right. Wow, what an amazing turnout today. This is quite spectacular, and we're really thrilled to be part of this effort. My name is Alexander Dezurek. I'm with Autotroph Design. We're based here in Santa Fe. I want to give a quick shout out to the really talented design team that we have in-house. Representing us here are also Brooke Ballou and Sophia Saida. They're two integral members on the team. But we also convened an excellent advisor team, people that are experts in entrepreneurialism, startups in technology, creative arts, as well as media and entertainment, and especially innovation parks. So I'm going to give another shout out to David Breaker here, who is on our advisory team in that capacity. So when we sat down and started thinking about this project and met with our advisor team to go over what we wanted to do here, we really focus in on the idea of creating a true innovation district in Santa Fe. An innovation district is an area where different people, organizations, and institutions work together, sometimes collaborate, sometimes work on their own. But in a place where all these different ideas and organizations could work together in the same area and see what kind of synergies can come out of that. And thinking about what's appropriate for Santa Fe, we focus in on four main sectors. One is a civic. The city owns this property. We believe the city should have a presence there. Film and emerging media arts, we know, are very successful in driving the economy in New Mexico, and we would like to encourage and promote that. We feel that education, integrating education into this plan, is also very important, and especially having another anchor institution, higher education institution, anchoring this site, we feel is critical. Ideally, this would be an institution that focuses on arts and creativity, perhaps something along the lines of like the Stanford Design School is a name that's been kicked about. Also, we believe that bringing in commercial innovation partners will be the last key to this. Now, that can mean a lot of different things, but primarily we're looking at businesses that have a similar type of makeup as frankly, our advisor team, so it's a little biased, but we think that this is really appropriate for Santa Fe. People that are looking and cutting the forefront in technology and the arts and in media. And that's the four main pillars of this innovation district. We also see a great opportunity, which you cannot see super well, of implementing the Midtown Link project, Midtown Link guidelines rather, with this project. So you can't see it too well, but the emphasis of the Midtown Link was to take the big box strip malls that are on St. Mike's and Cerrillos, redevelop them into being 3 or 4 story apartments over ground floor retail, repurposing the big boxes to create a pedestrian-friendly environment on Cerrillos and St. Mike's. And so those are the things that were our inspiration as we dove into the design. Of course, the context of where Midtown is important. You know, everyone knows about downtown. Now people are starting to learn about Rufina. But it's along the primary corridor of Cerrillos and St. Mike's. And right now, at least on this campus, it's somewhat of a missing tooth in the smile of Santa Fe. When we looked at this, though, we decided to go big and bold, all right? We said that, yes, the city owns the university campus, but when you look at this aerial view, you see some really great neighborhoods ringing the campus. You see some great assets like Santa Fe Public Schools, like Santa Fe High, rather. But you have a lot of wasted and misused space, not only in the campus, but all around here. You have like dumping grounds for the Forest Service, for Santa Fe Public Schools or motor pool, facilities like that. Is that really appropriate for a high-profile site here in the middle of Santa Fe? We don't think that's the highest and best use for this property. So we propose to take the super block formed here and actually do a master plan for that, okay? Now, when you look at it, this is a little bit of a headache to look at, but the property ownership is challenging, to say the least. And to do this project in the way that we're proposing would be challenging. It would take political leadership, and I'm glad to see we have some city councilors here looking at this. But you've got vested stakeholders in the state that has a great state office complex and archives here. Santa Fe Public Schools has property, where is it, here, here, here. The city has property here and here, and even the federal government has a little inholding right in here, combined with commercial property owners. So while what we're proposing is by no means easy, I think that with a relatively few number of current landholders, including those that are public entities, and that might be willing to work together for the public good and to do something better here for all involved, we feel that this is a good idea. So in looking at the site, we said, all right, what are the buildings on site that we want to keep? Well, of course, this building, the Visual Arts Center, The Greer Garson Theater, the Greer Garson Studios, some of the great facilities here absolutely need to stay. And then we looked at the other uses around here, and yes, we're kind of taking out the motor pool for Santa Fe Public Schools. But we've got Nava Elementary School, we've got the new Milagro Middle School going up here, we've got great state office buildings. These are all great resources that could be leveraged in our design. Now we add in the street grid and building footprints. And then you start to layer on some green space, and you start to see some opportunities here. Connections. Maybe we do a gateway feature off of St. Mike's that leads into the heart of the campus. Connects to Linear Park that goes down to Franklin Miles Park. That connects into the neighborhoods beyond, so it's a way of pulling the surrounding neighborhoods into our development. We finished the road that goes all the way through campus so that you've got a connection from Cerrillos all the way through to Siringo, and then you use that to organize a street grid. By utilizing some of the existing roads, like the loop road on campus, as well as adding in a few small segments of new roads, all of a sudden now you've got a logical street grid that makes sense for organizing how we lay this development out. Similar to what Faith was talking about, we proposed putting in a microgrid. If we're going to be doing road work and utility work here anyway, let's put in the infrastructure for 21st century microgrid and infrastructure. That includes a fiber optic loop that would run through here, connecting to all the major portions of the site. And it includes a microgrid that has photovoltaic panels on all the roofs, a microgrid control center with battery backup, so that this development, this innovation district, in the event of an emergency, can keep the power on and can keep going. And then in the regular operation, feed electricity back into the grid. Now this is where we get really excited though, and that's where we've seen the synergies that could happen. So this is really just one, and this is the path from early childhood development to career. So Santa Feans, like my daughter who's going to start at the pre-K program at Nava in the fall, could go to school there, go to Milagro, go to Santa Fe High, and then maybe go to that higher education institution on campus. From there, they could spin off and get jobs in the Civic Center, in an innovation partner, in the film industry, or even in state and local government. Everything that you need could be right here in this one district. And when we start to think about this, some of the exciting things about this kind of a development, this kind of synergy that can happen, you know, we kind of step back and say, you know, this kind of looks a little bit like a circuit board here. And just like electrons run through a circuit board controlling information in a computer, we could have thoughts and ideas and people moving through this innovation district. And the exciting things happen in the intersection of some of these paths, where new ideas, new meetings, chance encounters take place and spin off into new ideas, business ventures, and solutions for the challenges that face the world. A lot hard to see this site plan here, but going through this site plan, again, we talked about the street grid network, we've talked about the park. We see the higher education institution anchoring the center of the site, utilizing most of the buildings that are on the campus that we decided to preserve right here. We see a place for the city of Santa Fe to have residents on campus to administer Volgeson Library. That'll be a new public library for the heart of Midtown, and the Greer Garson Theater. We see repurposed big boxes and new innovation partner buildings built in site, so there's people mixing and working through the site in that synergistic pattern I just talked about. Expanding the Greer Garson Studios to be film centers. And at the heart of this, we've got a plaza, okay? And each of the 4 sectors are represented in that plaza, and I'll show you an image of what that may look like in a second. And then ringing the perimeter are exactly what Link is calling for. It's 4-story buildings, ground floor retail, residences above. We did a real quick count. We can get about 700 apartment units just in this, with that configuration. So in terms of housing, we're providing that as well. Now, looking at the massing of the site, this is the same kind of color program diagram. One thing that we felt was very important is that while we have high massing along Cerrillos and St. Mike's, and kind of mixture of massing in 2, 3, and 4-story buildings in the middle campus, we want to step that down when we get to the edge. Where Nava Elementary School is in the adjacent neighborhoods, we're proposing single-family housing, workforce housing as a way to gradiate that massing up into the site. Here's an aerial view looking from St. Michael's here, looking at that gateway feature down the linear park. Now with some colors on there, so don't worry, we're not proposing like pink and orange stucco, but there'll be maybe more earth tones. And here's an idea of what that gateway district might be. So these are those mixed-use buildings. We're proposing a traffic circle. By no means is the only way to get that done, but we feel that some way of marking this site from St. Mike is important because that's something that this campus really lacks right now. Here's an idea of what that central plaza may look like. So maybe kind of a contemporary riff on traditional Pueblo massing, but in a very modern way. But really creating a public forum. Oh yeah, we kept the band shell, by the way. It's exactly where it is. But creating a public forum at the middle of this complex. There's the Arts Park. I've got 2 more slides. Here's the Arts Park looking from one of the sky bridges down. These would be the innovation partner buildings. Yeah, we kind of ripped off some Star Architect stuff here, but the idea that you would have maybe contemporary buildings lining that, and then feature artwork set amongst native vegetation in that park connecting to Franklin Miles Park. And then lastly, the idea of repurposing and reutilizing the great buildings on site, but then integrating them into a street grid that really makes a lot of sense. So a little hard to see, but here's Greer Garson Theater. Here's that new street that connects Siringo to Cerrillos. There's our plaza down there. We propose taking the administration building and putting it into a police substation. So this gives you an idea of what one of the internal streetscapes might look like. Okay? And with that, I'll turn it over to the next presenter.